Yo, what's going on, guys? Today we'll be doing the Who Will the Philadelphia 76ers draft in today's NBA or this year's NBA drafts. So before we start today's video, let's break it down. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Who will they draft? Why? And this is for all their picks. Now, the Sixers will look to add potentially a bigger wing or forward to pair with Paul George. Obviously, they had a hole at the power forward position, even though, WiIl did a good job. Now, they could also consider a backup or future big for Joel Embiid, and they would like a player that's going to be a win-now contributor who fits the core they built around Maxey and Embiid. So, Ace Bailey is going to be everybody's first choice. Bailey fits their need for a big athletic wing who's going to slot between Paul George and Tyrese Maxey. This is a guy who averaged, almost just under 20 points and 7 rebounds in college. He was a guy who shot over 5 attempts from 3, and he's got a legit transition pop. He's explosive and he glides off ball. He's ideal for a pace and space system. Yeah, his shot selection was wild at Rutgers, and he averaged just under 1.5 assists a game, which raises real questions about his decision-making and playmaking. Still, Bailey's size, tools, and two-way upside might be too intriguing for a team that wants length and athleticism and high ceilings. As Philly bets on talent and gives him a clear role as a slasher athletic connector, maybe kind of like a Brandon Miller alongside Maxey, George, and Embiid. If they don't like Bailey, VJ Edgecombe brings elite athleticism, defensive toughness, and potentially instant impact. He's a guy who can be a secondary playmaker as a facilitator, will grab rebounds, and can be a scorer. He's got an NBA-ready frame at 6'5", with a near 6'10" wingspan. He can guard 1 through 3. His defensive versatility is perfect for what Philly needs next to their guys. He'll bring energy in transition. Offensively, Edgecombe slashes and scores really well. He's also a guy who can be a solid spot-up shooter, averaging 1.14 points per possession, and that jumper is still catching up at times. It can be a little streaky, and the guy needs to work on his left hand, but the two-way ability and the upside as a combo guard with point guard-like skills could make him a day one contributor, especially on a team that's seeking toughness and defensive intensity. Now, he does project as a high floor, high energy defensive two-way piece that if the shot and the scoring ability develops, he could be an all-star. The safe pick could be Con Knipple from Duke. Knipple is one of the better shooters in this class, 1.38 points per shot attempt on spot-ups at 41% from 3. And his game's just all about spacing, high IQ, and connected play. I've been saying that he's DeAndre Hunter with a little bit less athleticism and length, but way better of a shooter and maybe a better offensive player. And this is a guy who's just really efficient. He's not going to make many mistakes. And Philly's half-court heavy offense benefits from guys who can move off ball. They don't need the ball in their hands, who can be movement shooters and can be secondary passers. And the big question is obviously, does his average burst and lateral quickness limit him as a wing defender? I don't think so. He's like 6'6", 215, 220. He's strong, physical, high IQ, and solid defensively. So if Philly wants a plug-and-play shooter to maximize around Embiid and Maxey, Con Knipple is the best fit. And I think the dark horse could be Trey Johnson if Philly's hunting for a true scorer with shooting upside. Johnson makes sense. He averaged almost 20 points a game with legit NBA 3-ball, and he has deep shooting range. He gets buckets off movement screens or in isolation and has a 6'10" wingspan to shoot over defenders. However, he's got to get better at playmaking, and that means as a floor general, as a facilitator, create for his teammates. And he's a guy who knows that he isn't a turnstile on defense, but he's got to be able to defend at a high level. He lapses off ball, and I think for them, physically, he's skinny. He has some athleticism, but he's a few years away from helping a team actually win at a high level. Might help a young team win. So if the Sixers want to maximize their offense, taking the best shooter or scorer available, especially one that doesn't need the ball, might be the best thing for them. as this is a team that I think when you watch them, you can tell, hey, they're trying to play with each other and they're trying to take, advantage of what their teammates are doing. And to me, if you can get a guy, as I mentioned earlier, like a Con Knipple, or even a Trey Johnson, or a VJ Edgecombe, or Ace Bailey, I think either of those guys are going to do good stuff. Now with their second pick, I think a backup big like a Ryan Kalkbrenner, drop coverage, or Maxime Renault would be great. Now, if they go wing or forward with their, like basically Trey Johnson, Ace Bailey, or a Con Knipple, I think Hugo Gonzalez, Adu Thiero, Walter Clayton could be options there. I mean, in the past, Drake Powell would be someone that fits what Daryl Morey likes. So having that upside, because like to me, I think getting Ryan Kalkbrenner would give you an actual backup big, who can come in day one, space the floor, corner threes, and be a pretty, like, I think at least kind of like Nias Cato or Luke Cornett type production. Maxime Renault, I think he's going to end up on the Spurs. He's fantastic. If he falls to them, that'd be great. Hugo Gonzalez could be like a wing that like really helps them out, especially if they go Ace Bailey and they want to go with a guy who's toolsy. Hugo could be that. And if they go Con Knipple, maybe they go and Adu Thiero to like offset, the two-sidedness that those picks are, in terms of Con Knipple maybe being less athletic and then Adu Thiero probably being one of the more athletic guys in this draft class. So I think that's one where you could see some interest there. So yeah, I think there's plenty of options. I think the top of the draft, the first round picks will determine who they go in the second, as I mentioned. If they end up, I think Kalkbrenner or whoever's the big available at that moment might be a safe bet. Like, I think you go big with your second pick and you go probably Ace Bailey or VJ Edgecombe. I kind of go Ace if you really believe on the upside, unless you want to go guard heavy. I just go with the guy that you think is going to help you win right now. But you also have Quinn Grimes and Jordan McCain, who are probably going to be coming back. Well, Quinn Grimes, we don't know for sure, but McCain is, obviously. I spoke to him at the lottery. So to me, that's definitely one that's interesting, and I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on that.